We're picking up on page Kuf Tes Zayin. So remember again, actually we can pick up on the last line on Kuf Tes Vav. So remember, we're speaking about over here the issue of taking revenge and harboring animosity. And because very often the Yetzer, right, the inclination of man, comes and stirs up the heart. So listen to this. Remember again, so essentially, what we have over here is as follows. Someone wrongs me. So remember, I will say, as much as I know intellectually that I should let it go. Right? Intellectually, I should let it go. Why should I let it go? Because if you don't let it go, it just holds you back. And it holds down. Rabbi Dr. Aaron Tversky has a great line. He says, bearing a grudge is allowing someone to live in your head rent-free. It's like meaning they're just occupying the squatters in your heart, squatters in your mind, squatters in your soul, and you get absolutely nothing from it. So I will say intellectually, every single person knows it makes no sense to bear a grudge. It makes no sense at all. And I will say, by the way, I'm not talking about a case where a person, let's say Ruvain wrongs me, and then Ruvain comes to apologize, but I don't feel maybe his apology is so sincere, so I harbor animosity. I'm talking about a case where Ruvain wrongs me. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't care. He's happy that he wronged me. He thinks I deserved it, right? The most extreme case. Still the Ramchal says, the Torah says, let it go. Let it go. Why should I let it go? See, I will say, remember, the reason the counter argument to letting it go is what? Because I think that if I let something go, then what am I doing? I'm justifying and accepting that behavior. If I stop hating you, it means that I'm okay with what you did. To which the Ramchal says, to which the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no, that's not it at all. To be honest, it makes no difference whether or not I give my shtempel to Ruvain's behavior. Ruvain's going to do what Ruvain's going to do. But when I hold on to something, I am allowing valuable emotional real estate to be tied up in a non-viable transaction. Sefer HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Lo sikam v'lo sitar. Don't harbor animosity. Let it go. Let it go. Free up that emotional space to do other things in life. Because right now it's just tied up with hate and with anger. So intellectually, I know this. Intellectually, I know, let go, move on, be productive. But yet, inside of me, my Yetzer says, no, don't let it go. Why should you let it go? He wronged you. He upset you. Okay, so even if you're going to be a tzaddik and you're not going to take revenge, at least, v'im lo yuchal yishar zikaron gadol, yishtadol lahashir zikaron mu'at. So if you're not going to take revenge, you should at least never forget what this person did to you. Right? Always hold it in your mind. And whenever you see them, you should be filled with that righteous indignation. And if you're not going to be filled, with incredible anger, you should be filled at least with a little bit of anger. Yomar derech mashal adam. Im tirtza litain la'ish hazeh iseh shel rotza hu lo seislach. L'chak yishin tzarachta. L'fachos lo titneu b'sever panim yafos. So I will say, so here sometimes how the Yetzer works. So if I asked Ruvain to borrow something from him, and he said no. So now, and for no good reason, he comes to me. Now he wants to borrow something. So remember again, I want to be a good Jew, so I don't want to engage in nekama. Right? Revenge would be what? That when he asks me for something, what do I say? No. So the Yetzer says to me, you know what? Fine. So you're going to give it to him? Give it to him with a frown. Right? Give it a shtach, right? Give it with a frown. Meaning, he should know that what he did was wrong. He should know that he harmed you. Or maybe they want to give it to him with a frown, but at least when you're called upon to help him, don't help him a lot. Just help him a little. Right? Just help him a little. Or if you're going to help him a lot, help him with a scowl. Right? Help him with a frown. Or whatever you do, never become friends. Or chas v'shalom, give him a smile. Im machalta lo, shelo teira lo la'oyev, dai bazeh. V'im gam lehischaber im tirtzeh, ach lo tar lo kol kach hiba gidol kebarishona. Whatever it is, make sure that you hold on to some vestige of your animosity. whatever you do, don't act normal with this person, right? Whatever you do, make sure that some of the anger remains. Because how can you possibly forgive a person? Or even, let's leave aside forgiveness. How can you ever possibly ever totally let go of the animosity of someone who harmed you so badly? And I will say this is how this works. Again, we don't need the Ramchal to tell us these cases because a lot of us live these cases, right? We know we have situations like this. Someone wrongs me. I know intellectually let it go, but not just intellectually. I know that God tells me to just let it go and move on, but I can't. I can't because, well, not that I can't. I won't. I want to hold on to some of the animosity. I want to hold on to some of the negativity. Because if I let go of it, then in my mind I've convinced myself that then I am saying what you did to me is okay. Al kain ba haTorah v'kala klal shaklo nichlal bo. We'll say, therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly how we tick, right? He knows exactly what it is that drives us. And therefore, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? V'yahavta l're'acha kamocha. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, love your fellow like you love yourself. Kamocha b'li shum hefresh. Kamocha, I will say, literally means that I have to love someone else, literally, again, like I love myself, without any distinction. Kamocha b'li chilukim, b'li tachbulos umazimos kamocha mamash. So I will say, this is actually a very beautiful interpretation, because the truth is, remember, we know the Gemara Masechah Shabbos, where Hillel reframes v'yahavta l're'acha kamocha. Because the truth is, for many of us, when we look at this mitzvah, right, what's our reaction to it? No way, right? No way that I should go ahead to love another Jew like I love myself. You could tell me to love Jews, you could tell me to be nice to Jews, but first of all, to love any human being like you love yourself, I will say, is quite dramatic, because at the end of the day, remember, the most basic instinct we have, every person has, is self-preservation, which means I value my life. I value myself more than anything else. That's just almost the way we're hardwired. You could transcend that, but lamaisikin, that's how it works. So if you have to echal kamocha, that's why Hillel, right? Hillel says, "Madasani alecha lechavercha lo savid." Right? What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to your friend. So you see, Hillel, I don't want to say Chashem waters it down, but Hillel distills it a little bit, right? It's not really about love, it's about not visiting animosity upon another human being. But the truth is that Ramchal says, do you know what it means? It means to love another person, belisach bulos umazimos kamocha mamish. It means that when you look at someone else, let go of the hate. Let go of the anger. Let go of the animosity. He wronged me. He really hurt me. Okay. Again, we'll say, remember, letting go of the animosity in no way says that what the other person did is okay. Letting go of the animosity is a self-driven decision. I let go of animosity for one simple reason. I don't want to be held back. I don't want to tie up valuable emotional energy and emotional real estate in things that are not going to go anywhere. Therefore, I make a conscious decision to let go. Says the Ramchal, that is the mitzvah of the Ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Let go. Let go. So really it's two mitzvahs. Lo siko. Will towards you because of it. Remember it because, correct, that sensitizes me to being a better person. Let go of the animosity because that holds me back. All right, so we'll say good morning. Great daf ahead of us today. Well, every daf is a great daf, but really today is a mamish exceptional daf. So today's daf is Tes Zayin. We are picking up on Tes Vav Amud Beis 15b, and we are picking up 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 lines up from the bottom. We thank our Talmud Torah sponsors for the month of Cheshvan, Adam and Yudi Ben Zev, for dedicating the Shiurim Le'ilei Nishmas, Adam's grandfather David Ben Shalom, Zichron Livracha, and in honor of Adam's grandmother Helen Nachman, his parents Eli and Judy Ben Zev, for serving as incredible role models. May Hashem grant them Arichos Yamim. Shkoyach, thank you to the Ben Zevs for the sponsorship. And Abose, with that, let us begin. So remember again, the Gemara, we ended off yesterday with a principle, or I should say a concept that the Gemara was floating, which is Ein Safek Motzi Midei Vadai. That ultimately, again, the Gemara was suggesting based on a particular case. By Niddah, where a man went out of town, came back home, that we established this principle that a Safek cannot go ahead and change the status of a Vadai. To which the Gemara says, is that true? Vakati ein safek motzi midei. Listen to this case. Vatanya, fascinating case. There was an episode with a shifcha kinanis. Remember again, the nature of a shifcha kinanis. She is a Gentile maidservant, but who is quasi-Jewish. Right? Meaning, again, remember, when you become an Eved or a Shifcha, you undergo a Tvila L'Shem Gerus. So she is quasi-Jewish, which means that she has to observe the halachos of childbirth. So what happens? So Shehitila Neifel Bar, she miscarried, and she threw the fetus into a pit. Uba Kohen v'hitzitz leida im zachra im nekeva. So we're saying the Kohen, who apparently, again, was a Kohen Ama Aretz, came along, and he looked into the pit to see was the fetus male or female, which would then determine whether or not halacha l'maisa, the nature of her yemei tuma and tara. So we'll say, so what's the problem? The problem is if he leaned over the pit and the fetus is there, he was mahil, right? He essentially hovering over the fetus ultimately again allows him to contract tuma. So we'll say, so says the Gemara, uba ma'isef nechachamim v'tiru. And this episode came before the Chachamim, and the Chachamim declared him to be tahar. Why? Because I will say there's weasels and other types of animals that are often found there. And therefore, again, the assumption is they dragged away the fetus. So says the Gemara, nefel safek garua safek lo garua v'ka'asi safek umotzi midei vadai. But once again, we'll say here's the problem. The problem is we have a safek and a vadai. The vadai is that there's a fetus in there, right? The safek is that what? That maybe an animal dragged it away. And yet, again, the safek of the animal is taking away the vadai of the fetus, and that's why the Chachamim are declaring that the Kohen is tar. So what's happening over here? To which the Gemara says, Lo tema hitila labar, ella ima, kamin, top of tazayin, kamin nefel. So says the Gemara, it doesn't literally mean that she definitely threw in a nefel. Rather, I will say there's another safek over here. The safek over here is what she gave birth to considered to be a nefel or not. I would say that was the safek, right? Safek nefel, kamin nefel. So says the Gemara, that's the safek over here. So therefore, we have a double case of safek. She threw something in. Is it considered to be a birth? Is it not considered to be a birth? But 1 second, but that's not what the Brisa says. The Brisa says that the Kohen is leaning over to figure out whether or not it was a male or a female, which sounds like it was definitely a nefel. This is what it means to say, Uba Kohen v'heitzitz im leida im nefel epila im ruach epila. No. What happened here is as follows. He's over the pit, first of all, to ascertain, was this a nefel or not? Or we'll say ruach, we've seen this before, is just the lashon that the Gemara uses for a non-viable fetus, for something that doesn't even reach the threshold of being a fetus. So the Kohen goes ahead and first matter of business reaches over to see halacha l'maisa, is this a nefel or not? And if it turns out that it was a nefel, leida im zachar im nekeva, then to be able to ascertain, was this a zachar or a nekeva? So therefore again, this is not a case of safek and vadai, rather again it's what? it's a case of suffix and suffix. It's a double suffix. Suffix, is it a nafel or not? And suffix, even if it's a nafel, did the chulda or bardalis drag it away? In which case, that's why the Chachamim declared this particular individual, this particular Kohen, to be tar. Another possibility is, kevan the chulda or bardalis mitzuyin sham vaday garur. The other possibility is that no, maybe it's a case of a vaday nafel. But even if it's the case of a Vaday Nefel, this was a place where there was definitely, where Chulda and Bardalus were often found, and therefore Halacha Lamaisa, the Vaday presence of a Chulda and Bardalus makes this a case of Vaday and Vaday. Vaday Nefel, and ultimately again Vaday Chulda and Bardalus, which dragged it away. Good, so therefore I will say, remember, we're still back to our original premise, which is Ein Safek Motze Midei Vadai. Therefore, I will say the case that the Gemara suggested before about in yesterday's daf, about the individual going out of town and being able to calculate the veses of his wife, and that she became a Niddah, went to the mikvah, and that therefore again he need not inquire about her status before having relations with her. The Gemara qualified that case of where she was a Safek Niddah. But if she was a Vadai Niddah, then Einachinam, he would actively have to clarify her status. Why? Because Ein Safek Motze Midei Vadai. So now we'll say we challenged that principle to say yes, Safek Motze Midei Vadai, but ultimately again each of those challenges has been effectively defeated. Good. So we'll say that's the following shaila of Rav Nachman. We'll say a fascinating yisodistic shaila that we are going to see come up a number of times throughout this Masechta. Vestos d'oraisa or d'Rabbanan. Now we'll say the concept of a veses. So remember, we translate a veses as a regular cycle. A woman, remember, so a veses means that a woman becomes a niddah with some degree of regularity. Now I will say there's a veses kavua and a veses she'ino kavua. Veses kavua means, and again, we're going to see all of this, not in today's daf, but we'll see later on in the Masechta. Veses kavua means that she has a set veses, whatever that is. We'll see. There's a veses chodesh, a veses hayamim, whatever the regularity. But we'll see, even a woman who has a vesa she'ina kavua, even a woman who doesn't have a set cycle, there are certain established patterns of nidos that woman would have to observe as well, such as an ona beinonis every 30 days. So we're asking in general the concept of vestos, the concept of a woman becoming a nida at a particularly appointed time. Does that veses, is that a daraisa or a derabanan? Now, what does that mean? Take a look at Rashi. This is fascinating. Vestos daraisa derabanan. Here we go. Hadikaimalon debaye bedika b'shas vesta. So we'll say we haven't seen this halacha yet, but we're going to see it, which is that we'll say if a woman has a vesas at the time of her vesas, which means at the time that she expects her period, halacha l'maisa she has to do a bedika. That's the halacha. She has to do a bedika. We'll say that's halacha l'maisa. One has to do a bedika b'shas vesta when she's expecting her period. So the shaila is that a din da'oraisa or a din d'Rabbanan? What's the nafka? Listen to this. This is incredible. So do we say di'im lo badka tmeya va'afilu badka achar zman hamatzasa tahora da'orech b'zman haba v'dam chazai v'nafal akarka o d'Rabbanan hu datzruchu avim lo badka torah. So we'll say if you say that vestos are da'oraisa, then what does that mean? That means that halacha l'maisa, we assume the lashon that the Gemara is going to use is chazaka oreach bizman oba. The visitor always comes on time, right? So we'll say if you hold that it's a doraisa, that means we absolutely assume that she bled, which means I will say that obviously she has an obligation to do a bedika b'shas vesta. But even amazingly enough, let's say she doesn't do a bedika immediately. She does a bedika sometime later on, and it comes out clean, we will still assume that she is Timeya. Because if you hold that vestos are da'oraisa, that we assume that she bled b'shas vesta, now she's not seeing blood, okay, that for whatever the reason that is, but lamaisa, the chazaka tells us that she bled. So we'll say that's if you hold vestos daraisa. If on the other hand you hold d'Rabbanan, so we'll say ultimately again, so d'Rabbanan should also be obligated to do a bedika, but if she didn't do a bedika at all, or if halacha l'maisa she did a bedika later on and it was clean, then halacha l'maisa we would assume that she's not a niddah. So we'll say, so this is the yisodistic shaila. B'aminim Rav Nachman, vestos daraisa d'Rabbanan. Amr lehu, mida amr huna chaver mishmei d'Rav. So we'll say, huna our friend said in the name of Rav, isha sheyesh la veses v'yegia shas vesta v'lo badka. We'll say if a woman has a veses and the time of her veses came, and she did not go ahead and do a bedika. Ulebasof ra'asa, but then she sees blood sometime later on. Chosheshes levesta v'chosheshes l're'iyasa. They will say at that point in time she has to be choshesh that the blood was already there. She was already bleeding from the time of her veses and from the time of the re'iyah. So we'll see Rashi points out over here that what does that mean from the time of her veses and the time of her re'iyah? So if you look at Rashi says chosheshes levesta v'chosheshes l're'iyasa imzman vesta kodem me'is le'is. If the time of her veses was ultimately again more than 24 hours from the re'iyah, mitam inon taros de vesta ve'elach. Dilma bismano ba. Therefore, we'll say we'll declare her tmeah from the time of her veses and on, with the chazaka that she bled at the time of her veses. Ve'im me'is la'isha re'iyasa kodim levesta. But I will say if the me'is la'is of the re'iyah precedes the veses, ultimately then what? As linan bas re'iyah. Then we'll go after the re'iyah. So we'll say, so the idea is we take the more chamer of the two, the more chamer me'is la'is. So if the me'is la'is of the re'iyah is ultimately backs it up even before the veses, we'll keep it at the re'iyah. But the point over here is Alma vestos doraisa. But I will say the point over here is, leaving aside the me'is la'is in this, which you clearly see over here is an explicit halacha in the name of Rav, that a woman who has a veses, the time of her veses came, she did not do a bedika, and then she sees blood, chosheshes levesta. We assume that halacha lamaisa she bled as of the time of her veses. That tells us that what? Vestos doraisa. Alma vestos doraisa. Ikedam rihachi. Rabbi say others have a different version of this. Ikedam rihachi karale. Time of durasa. The reason ultimately again that she becomes tamei is because she saw blood. Halo rasa, which tells you that what? If she did not see blood, in choshishin, we would not be choshish that she's a niddah. Alma vestos derabanan. Therefore, you see from here from Rav's statement that vestos are drabanan. Okay, so Rav's statement is not too much of a help for us in deciding this halacha. Itmar. I will say, so again, you understand like what's riding on this. Rashi's giving us the most dramatic case over here, that literally again her time of her veses came, she did not do a bedika. She does a bedika 12 hours later, let's say the next ona, for argument's sake. It's clean. If you hold vestos daraisa, she's still a niddah. If you hold vestos dirabanan, ultimately again, she's not a niddah. So there's an incredible nafkamina over here. Next, itmar. Isha, I was still in the same shaila. Isha sheyesh la veses v'yigia shas vesta v'lo badka. Woman who has a veses and the time of her veses came, and she did not do a bedika, ulubasof badka, and then at the end, sometime later on, she does a bedika. So we'll say, what's the halacha? Amarav. Badko matzah umatzasa tmeya tahora. So Rav says, okay, her status, she's doing a bedika, so therefore what? Her status will be determined by what Rabbi say? By the bedika. If the bedika comes out clean, then she's good. If right, then she's tahora. If the bedika doesn't come out clean, then she is tmeya. Shmuel says, afilu badko matzas tahora nami tmeya. Shmuel says, even if she does the bedika at some later time, and the bedika comes out clean, she's still tmeya. Why? Mipnei, Rabbi say, here's the lashon mipnei sha'oreach bizmano ba. Everyone knows the visitor comes on time, right? So therefore, again, if she has a veses, we assume she became a niddah. So what are they arguing about? Lema bevestos, kameflagi. We'll say Rav and Shmuel are arguing on vestos. Dimar savar daraisa, umar savar dirabanan. One opinion holds, i.e. Shmuel holds that vestos are daraisa, and Rav holds that they're dirabanan. To which the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Zera, no. The chuli alma vestos daraisa. Everyone holds that vestos are da'oraisa. So what's happening over here? Kan shebadka atzma kashir veses, kan shelo badka atzma kashir veses. We'll say, so what are Rav and Shmuel arguing about? So now the Gemara is going to suggest, Rabbi Zera suggests, everyone agrees that vestos are da'oraisa. So now what's going to be the variable? Right? The variable ultimately is what? Is halacha lamaisa. When is she doing the bedika? Look at Rashi for just a moment. Tichuli alma afilu Rav moded the vestos daraisa. Even Rav would agree that vestos are daraisa. V'hadikamar debe matzasa tahora. So why does Rav say that if she checks herself after the veses and it comes out clean that she is tahora? What's the case? Kishebadka kishir veses shel vesta devadai I havadam hava mishkacha. Ushmuel savar afilu hachi tmeya Dorech Bismano Ba, Hovel Badka B'Shas Vesta Mamish. So also listen to this. So everyone holds, according to Rabbi Zera, everyone holds Vestos Daraisa. So why is Rav saying that if she does the Badika and it comes out clean, that she's Tahora? Rav's talking about a case, but where is she doing the Badika? Where is she doing the Badika? Mamish at the time of the Vesas. At the time of the Vesas. At the time that she's... So again, even if you say Vestos or Doraisa, if you do the Badika B'Shas Vesta and it comes out clean, that's pretty clear that Halacha L'Maisa, she's not a Niddah. Shmuel argues, and Shmuel says something amazing. Shmuel says that even if she's doing it, remember again, we're going to see when it comes to Vestos. So even if someone has a Vesas Kavua, rarely does a Vesas Kavua mean that she's becoming a Niddah at a specific moment. Is generally an Ona, right? She becomes a Niddah in the morning of the 30th day, right? In the evening of the... So Rav will say, as long as if she's doing the Badika at the time of the Vesas and it comes out clean, that's incontrovertible proof that Allah says she's not a Niddah. Shmuel will say that still you can never know the precise moment that the Nidus starts. So maybe again she bled earlier in the period of time in the Ona, and he missed it, and therefore the Badika is coming out clean now. But Lamaisa again she's still Tameh. So we'll say it's a very chumradik shita of Shmuel. Shmuel is essentially saying that Vestos Daraisa tells you she's bleeding. She's bleeding, whether you see it or not. Ultimately, again, she's bleeding. So the Gemara says, "V'kan shlabad katzma kashir vesas." Rashi says, "Hadika amar lael vestos daraisa time utmeafi l'rab shlabad katzma b'shir vesas." So we'll say, so ultimately, again, even Rav would agree that halacha l'maisa what? Even Rav would agree that if she's checking herself afterwards, shalo b'shas vesta, then even if that badika cloth comes out clean, she's still going to be tameh. So also, according to what we're holding right now, Rabbi Zera is suggesting that everyone holds vestos daraisa. Everyone holds the vestos. So we'll say, so now, within vestos daraisa, there is a fascinating machlokes. What happens if she does a badika in the time of the vesas and it comes out clean? Rav will say, tahora. Tahora, it's clear. Even vestos is still clear. Shmuel says, no, maybe she missed the moment that she was bleeding, right? She did bleed, she didn't catch it, and ultimately, again, now it's coming out clean. But the fact that it's coming out clean doesn't change the fact that she's already a Niddah. So the Gemara says, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar, bevestos kufayil kamiflagi. Rav Nachman says, no. The machlokes Rabbi Shmuel, as we said before, is mamish and vestos. Demar savar vestos daraisa, umar savar vestos derabanan. One opinion holds that, right? So again, Rav will hold that vestos are daraisa. I'm sorry, Shmuel will hold that vestos are daraisa. Rav will hold that vestos are derabanan. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Sheshes kitanoi. Rav Sheshes says, in fact, this is a machlokes tanoim. Rabbi Eliezer omer tamei niddah, Rabbi Yeshua omer tibadek. So we'll say they're talking about a case over here where a woman has a vesas. The vesas arrives. So Rabbi Eliezer says she's tamei niddah. Now we'll say Rabbi Eliezer is upping the game a little bit over here. And what does he say? He says there's not even a need for a badika. Forget about a badika. Vestos daraisa, and therefore she is tamei as soon as the vesas come. Rabbi Yeshua says tibadek. She should do a badika. She should do a badika. Rashi says. Now, the truth is, I should say it differently. Rabbi Eliezer is saying that if the vesas came and she didn't do a badika, she is still tamei. Rabbi Yeshua says tibadek. Rashi says tibadek. It's right across. In Rashi, la'acher vesta, matzasa tamei mishas vesta, tahora. Rabbi Yoshua says, let her do a badika even after the vesas. If the badika is clean, then she's tahora. If the badika is not good, then ultimately again she will be tamei retroactively to the time of the vesas. So I'll say you see it's a machlokes tanoim. Hani tanoi, kani tanoi. And I'll say these tanoim are like the other tanoim. What do the other tanoim say? So the Gemara says this on your Rabbi Meir Omer tamei niddah v'chachamim omrim tibadek. So I'll say same idea. A woman has a vesas. The vesas passes by without a badika. What should she do? Rabbi Meir says she's tamei. Chazaka oreach bizman ba. Chachamim say tibadek vestos derabanan. Amar Abaye. Af anan nami tanino. We also have this. We also learn this. This nan. Rabbi Meir Omer im haisa b'machva v'yegia shas vesta v'lo badka Torah. We've seen this case already a number of times. A woman is in hiding out of fear. Even if the time of her vesas comes and she did not do a badika, she is tahora. Why? So the Gemara says, Shecharada misalekes es hadamim. Ultimately, again, because we assume that the fear removes her blood, right? We know external stimuli can produce physiological changes, and therefore halacha l'maisa, we assume that because she was in such a state of fear, she did not bleed. So taima diga charada. Rabbi says, so the only reason over here why halacha l'maisa we're not going to declare her as a niddah is because there is the element of this fear. Haleka charada. Rabbi says, where there is no fear, tameya, we would assume that she's tamei. What do you see from here? Alma vestos daraisa. Ultimately, again, what do you see from here? That vestos are doraisa. Lema hani tanoi bahapligi. So we'll say that the following time we're also having the same machlokes. Disanya haro dam machmas maka afilu besoch yemeni dasa. So we'll say this is actually a fascinating case that we're going to spend a lot of time on all of these cases, but this is really quite fascinating. A woman sees dam maka during the days of her niddah. Look at Rashi for just a moment. Haro dam machmas maka sheish l'me'ah. So we'll say, so just to understand the mitzias over here, that the mitzias as the Gemara is understanding it is as follows. A woman is bleeding from internal bleeding. Internal bleeding. She's damaka, nothing to do with nidus. She has some type of internal injury that is causing her to bleed. So what happens? So the Gemara says, so Rashi says, a woman sees dam maka during the time of her veses. So what's ta'alacha? So the Gemara says, Tahora di Rabbi Shmuel Silber. Rabbi Shmuel Silber says, she's Tahora. Why is she Tahora? Because that's what's called dam maka. That's called blood of an injury. That's not called dam niddah. So okay, that's Rabbi Shmuel Silber. Rabbi says, Im yesh la veses, chosheshes la vesta. Rabbi says, well, one second. If she has a veses, then halacha l'maisa. If she has a veses kavua, then we're going to assume that the blood is in fact dam niddah. That's what we're going to assume. So we'll say, what are they arguing about? So the Gemara says, my love b'hak miflagi. Are they not arguing about the following concept? The marsa vestos daraisa, umarsa vestos d'rabanan. So we'll say, are they not arguing about the following concept? One opinion holds that vestos are daraisa, and everyone will say, if you hold vestos are daraisa, even if I know that she has a makkah hamotzia dam, even if she has a wound that is bleeding, nevertheless, chazaka oreach bismano ba, and therefore I assume that there's dam niddah, either there's dam niddah mixed in, or other dam niddah came out before or after. On the other hand, if you hold vestos d'rabanan, therefore I have every right to say, although she is bleeding, that blood is from an internal injury and not dam niddah. To which the Gemara says, Amar Ravina lo. Ravina says, no, that's not what they're arguing about. Rather, the chuli alma vestos d'rabanan. Everyone agrees vestos are d'rabanan. So we'll say, so what are they arguing about over here? This is actually quite fascinating. V'hacha b'mekar mikomo tame kamiflagi. They will say what they're arguing about is, what is the status of non-uterine blood which passes through the uterus? So we'll say, the mitzias over here, as they're understanding it, ultimately is what? Again, this was based on their understanding. So ultimately, again, if you have dam maka that somehow goes through the uterus, but is not uterine blood, does the fact that blood passes through the uterus ultimately make it dam niddah or not? So we'll say, it happens, it's a fascinating shaila. It's a fascinating, from an intellectual perspective, what the question is what classifies something as uterine blood? Does it have to be blood which originates in the uterus, or could it be blood which, quote unquote, somehow passes through? Look at Rashi. Mekomo tamei v'chol dam habad derech shem afilu eno dam niddah have avatuma letame adam tumas erev v'im naga b'taras tameim v'ka'amar leRebbi ulahakel dvar bavachi kamar im yesh laveses kilamar im ata omer letama mipnei vesta chosheshes lavesta kilamar yesh tame tumas shiva v'hol incha. So therefore, again, what they're really arguing about over here is as follows. What the Gemara suggests is as follows. Everyone agrees vestos are d'rabanan. That's the Gemara suggesting over here. What are they arguing about over here? We'll say, what's the status of blood which is non-uterine in origin, but ultimately passes through the uterus? That's mekar mekomo tame kamiflagi. Rabbi Shmuel Silber savar isha tahora v'dam tame dikaasi derech makar. So Rabbi Shmuel Silber will say the woman herself is tahora, but ultimately, again, the blood is tame because ultimately it comes through the makar. V'amar leRebbi ichayashta levesta isha nami tamea v'ilo chayash levesta mekar mekomo tarhu. To which ultimately, again, Rebbe says, no, that's not the shaila. The shaila is if you're choshesh for the veses, then einachinami, this will be dam nida. If you're not choshesh for the veses, then there's nothing to talk about, because blood which passes through the uterus, which is uterus, which is non-nida blood, does not make a woman tamei tumas nida. So what happens to be that makar makom tamei, we're going to see. Where is that? The Gemara, it says later on Chav Beis, so we'll see it in just a few days from now. But that concept of makar makom tamei is going to be incredible, because understand the ramifications of that. You could also have uterine blood that is damaka, right? This happens all the time. A woman has some type of procedure or something else, she bleeds. It's not her normal Niddah cycle, but ultimately, again, it's uterine blood. So do you hold makar makom tamei? Anything that comes out of the uterus, or passes through the uterus for that matter, is dam Niddah? Or do we say, no, it's only the dam of a normative menstrual cycle that ultimately, again, becomes dam Niddah? So we'll say, that's not our machlokes over here. That's not our machlokes over here. Remember again, our machlokes was vestos d'Rabbanan or d'Oraisa. So we'll say, so how do we paskin? So interestingly enough, the Rambam paskins that vestos d'Rabbanan. That's how the Rambam paskins. And I will say that seems to play out in much of Hilchos Niddah as we see it. Again, when we get into the sugyas ultimately of vestos and the different types of vestos, we will see the application of that principle. But halacha l'maisa, we pass it to Rambam, vestos are d'Rabbanan. Beautiful. Says Beis Shammai, says the Mishnah, I will say. Beis Shammai Omrim, I will say another incredible sugya. Beis Shammai Omrim, tzricha beis edim al kol tashmish v'tashmish. So I will say, the Gemara the Mishnah goes into a very interesting case. What happens if over the course of the night, the couple engages in multiple acts of tashmish? So the shaila is, what's the obligation for bedikos? So I will say, remember again, so keep doing this because it's very important to contextualize everything. Remember, the only time that bedikos are ever coming up in the realm of bia is where? Taras. Always with the woman who's, right? If a woman is not asik in taras, so we'll say there's no bedikos before or after any time. So remember again, focusing on a woman who's already dealing with taras. So what we've established halacha l'maisa by taras essentially is, once you're doing the mandated bedikos of taros, once in the morning, once in the evening, Chazal also added on to that the bedikos before, either before and after, before or after, just after, all the variations. So therefore, Beis Shammai says, tzricha beis edim al kol tashmish v'tashmish. So Beis Shammai says that a woman is obligated to do a bedika before and after every single act of relations. Rashi says, Shnei edim chadoshim al kol tashmish echad lefanav ve'echad la'acharav ulamachar te'ayben. Now both say, now here Rashi says something dramatically amazing, which I don't know that we appreciated up until this point. She's going to do a bedika before, so Beis Shammai says, essentially, bedika before and after every act of tashmish. We'll say, when are you looking at these bedikos? When did you look at these bedikos? So I think we always assumed, right, then. So Rashi says, no, she's not looking at them until the next morning, right? Because they will say, understand, say, how could that be? How could that be? What if she's bleeding? They will say, remember again, halacha l'maisa, the only point of these bedikos is not vis-a-vis your husband, right? The ramification of these bedikos is for taros. So the truth is, now at night, those bedikos actually, that's not the impact of the bedikos. The shayla is going to be tomorrow morning, if she sees dam on them, what that ultimately does for the taros. But halacha l'maisa, she's doing these bedikos, putting them away somewhere, and she'll look at it tomorrow in the morning. So that's Beis Shammai. You need a bedika before and after every act of tashmish. So the Gemara says, so tzrichim beis edim al kol tashmish. Oh, to shamish la'or haner. So we'll say this is incredible. Or what she could do is, we'll say she could go Rashi to shamish la'or haner v'tivdok la'achar tashmish eicha kanchabo. Or we'll say the possibility is as follows. Let's say again she only has one bedika cloth. So if she only has one bedika cloth, so remember again we spoke about before, can you reuse bedika cloths? And the answer is yes, if they're clean, although we saw that Snuin, right, did not reuse bedika cloths, they used separate bedika. But again, halach she only has one, so Beis Shammai will say you have to do a bedika before and after every tashmish. But if she only has one bedika cloth, then inachinami, she'll have to check it la'or haner. She'll have to check it ultimately again by the light. So in that case, again, they could have bia ultimately again la'or haner. We'll discuss this because we discussed about not doing this. L'or haner, not by or haner, but she could do. They could tashamish l'or haner. They could have candlelight there. That way, she could look at the bedika. Beis Hillel says, "Dayu b'shnei edim kol halayla." Beis Hillel says, "No. All you need is one aid, one bedika at the beginning of the night, one bedika at the end of the night. But you need not do separate bedikos before and after every act of tashmish." Rashi says, "Dayu b'shnei edim kol halayla." Echad lifnei tashmish rishon, ve'echad la'achar tashmish acharon. V'afa gav de mishameshes v'lo yada ichazoi beni ubeni, bein lebeis Shammai, bein lebeis Hillel, lo ichpas lan, de lo hutzechu livdok ela lechomer tara. So we'll say again, Rashi reinforces this. Remember, even those who are mandating these bedikos are not really relevant vis-a-vis her husband. They're relevant ultimately again for taras. That's why she could do them at night, not look at them till the next morning. That's why Beis Hillel is fine with one before the first biyah and one after the last biyah. Says the Gemara Amud Beis, we'll say. Incredible Gemara. What happened to my bookmark? Says the Gemara, Tarabanan, Afa Pisha Amru, Hamishamish Mitasali Arhaner Harizim Aguna. So we'll say, remember again, the Rice is picking up on the Mishnah. So the Mishnah said, according to Beis Shammai, you require a bedika before and after every bedika of the night. And if you don't have separate bedika cloth, so Beis Shammai says you can reuse the bedika cloth. You just have to what? You could have bia la'or haner. This way she could look at the bedika cloth each time to make sure that it's still clean. So the Gemara says, even though we said that if one goes out on mishamish mitasa la'or haner hari zemaguna, if one goes ahead and has relations in a room that is illuminated, hari zemaguna. We'll say maguna means it's disgusting. Now we'll see what that means. Why is that disgusting? We'll discuss in just a little bit. So even though we'll say this is not a preferable way to conduct one's intimate life, Beis Shammai omrim tzricha shnei edim al kol tashmish o tashmish o tishamish la'or haner. So nevertheless, we'll say, so interestingly enough, even though relations la'or haner is certainly frowned upon, significantly frowned upon, nevertheless, Beis Shammai says, if you only have one bedika cloth, that's going to be what you're going to have to do, right? That ultimately, again, a person will go ahead and have bia la'or haner and look at the bedika cloth in between or after each bedika. Beis Hillel says, no, daya b'shnei edim kol halayla. Beis Hillel says, no, you don't need a bedika before and after every bia, just one before the first and one after the last. Tanya, Amru lahem Beis Shammai leBeis Hillel. So Beis Shammai said to Beis Hillel, L'divreichem. So Beis Shammai is very upset that Beis Hillel is okay with just two bedikas, one before and one after. How could that be? Beis Shammai. So Beis Shammai says to Beis Hillel, L'divreichem. Leichosh shema tira tipas dam kechardel b'bia rishona, the techapen hashechva zera b'bia shnia. Maybe why aren't you choshesh to the fact that maybe she's going to see some blood? There's going to be a drop of blood, and what's going to happen because of the repeated bios? So what's going to happen? The shechva zera, the semen, is going to cover up any blood that's there. So Beis Shammai is saying to Beis Hillel that ultimately, again, of course you have to check after every bia, because if not, even if there is some blood that's there, it could be covered up by the zera. Amalei Beis Hillel. So Beis Hillel says back to Beis Shammai, Af ledivreichem leichush ad sharoch b'soch hapeh shema nimok v'holechlo. So we'll say, so essentially, Beis Hillel says back to Beis Shammai, if that's what you're concerned for, that concern exists even by one bia. There's Beis Hillel saying to Beis Shammai, it's not an illegitimate concern. But obviously, I will say, we're not concerned for that, because if that was a true halachic concern, then bia should always be asur, because there's always the possibility that any act of bia, the zera covers up a droplet of blood. So halach l'maaseh, the fact that we're not choshesh for that after one bia tells you that I'm not choshesh for that at all. Amru lahem, to which Beis Shammai responds to Beis Hillel, Lefi she'eino domen nimok pam achos lenimok shtei pamim. To which Beis Shammai says back to Beis Hillel, you can't compare the potential covering up of the blood after one bia versus two bios. Obviously, there's twice as much zera there. So Beis Shammai says we're not concerned about that after one bia, but we are concerned about that after multiple bia. So we'll say, so therefore, again, this is important because this seems to be the point of contention. Beis Shammai requires a bedika before and after every bia because they are concerned that if we don't do that, there may be blood there, but the blood ultimately, again, will be covered up by the zera. Beis Hillel says we're not choshesh for that. Because if you would be choshesh for that, that chashash should exist even after one bia. To which Beis Shammai responds, maybe, but l'maisa there's a greater probability of that potentially happening after multiple bios. Good. Tanya Rabbi Yoshua. Ro'ani es Beis Shammai. So let's listen to this. It's incredible Gemara. So Rabbi Yoshua says, I hear Beis Shammai's position. In other words, I hold like Beis Shammai. Namely, that a woman should have to do a badika before and after every bia. So we'll say, this is incredible. Amr lo Talmidav. So his Talmidim got a little bit upset at this psak. Right? Talmid said, Rebbe, kama ha'arachta alinu. Rebbe, why are you being so machmir? Right? Kama ha'arachta alinu means, why have you made things so difficult for us? Rashi says, hechmarta, why are you being so machmir? Amar lahem, he says to them, mutav, sha'arich aleichem ba'olam hazeh, kedei shi'arichu yemechem li'olam haba. I will say this is such a beautiful statement. Right? It is a little bit of a play on words. It is better that I should be machmir with you in this world, right? Ha'arachta, which means to be machmir, so that you should enjoy arichos yamim in olam haba. So to which the Rebbe is saying, the Rabbi Shmuel is saying to his Talmidim, and now, again, I'm not trying to make your life more difficult. I'm trying to safeguard you from any type of isurim. On Rabbi Zera says, what do you see from here? Medivrei kulam, Rabbi say this is an incredible statement. It appears that both according to Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, we learn Niomad Bal Nefesh Lo Yival V'Yishna. Now, Rabbi say, now this is quite interesting that we learn from here that a Bal Nefesh, Rashi says a Chassid Lo Yival V'Yishna should not have repeated acts of bia without bedikos in between. Rashi says Lo Yival V'Yishna below bedika bein sayim. Dafilu beisil matzrichi bedika lesof tashmish. Alma chayshinan l'shem arasada machmas tashmish. Alma mishu yarei uporish misafek iser lo yival v'yishna. So we'll say, listen to this. This is an incredible statement. So Rabbi Zera says like this. Rabbi Zera says, here's what we know. The machlokas Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is that what? The frequency of how you have to do the bedikos. Right? Beis Hillel says one in the beginning, one in the end. Beis Shammai says before and after every act of bia. But what is everybody agreeing on? What is everybody agreeing on? That what? You have to bedikos. Which tells you that what? That there's the possibility of bleeding. Which tells me that, and then again at the end of the day, the more bios that occur, the more the possibility, like Beis Shammai said, is that halacha l'maisa, if there's a droplet of blood, it become obscured by or covered up by the zera. So Rabbi Zera wants to take away from here that a bal nefesh, a chassid, shouldn't engage in multiple acts of bia with his wife, apparently without bedikos in between. Rava says, no, bal v'shona. I'll say, this machlok is actually very interesting. Rava just says two words, bal v'shona. No, you can have repeated acts of bia. Right? That's it. Like he doesn't address it. I will say now, I'll also tell you, why? Why does he say that? Because kitanya hi lataris. So we'll say, remember again, Rava says, please, let's keep in mind the context over here. Don't say stuff like Bal Nefesh Lo Yival V'Yishna. Don't make it sound like Rabbi say that this is a din in the halachos of intimacy. This isn't a din in the halachos of intimacy. Rabbi say this is a din in Taurus. And this is a chumrah in Taurus. A rabbinic chumrah in Taurus. So don't let a rabbinic chumrah in Taurus shape intimate etiquette between a husband and wife. So Rava says if they want to engage in multiple acts of bia in one night, that's definitely their prerogative. And there's no midos chasidus not to do so. Because the bedikas, even Beis Shammai's chumradika bedikas, are what Rabbi say, for Torah's purposes. Rabbi say, what is the greatest raya to that? Rabbi say, it's a startling statement in Rashi that I don't think we ever appreciated until now. What is she doing with the bedikas? What is she doing with them? She's waiting until tomorrow morning. Remember yesterday's daf we had the case of a woman takes a bedika cloth, hinicha b'kufsa, she puts it in a box. You ever wonder, like, first of all, where do you get like a bedika cloth box? But right, what am I saying? Right? Why is she putting bedika cloths in a box? Well, say, now you can begin to understand the context. When could that be happening? That could be happening at night when she's with her husband. She does the bedika, she puts it in a box. She's not looking at it till tomorrow morning. If this was a din in Hilchos Niddah, then what? She should be looking at it right now. And we'll say, leaving aside if we look at bedikos at night, leaving all of that aside, but the fact that she's doing a bedika, it's there. We're not even glancing at it until the next morning. This is a din in taras. That supports this. When is this true? The taras. Aval baila muteras. So we'll say ultimately again, these bedikos, halacha l'maisa again are a din in taras. But for a husband, she is permitted. Shabbos say, so again, that's why we already saw halacha l'maisa, that there's no such thing as doing bedikos ultimately again just for the sake of intimacy. Halacha l'maisa, this is a din in taras, and therefore again, Rava says bolel v'shona. If the couple wants to have repeated acts of bia in the course of one night, that is absolutely their prerogative. So the Gemara goes right to Medrar Murim. When is this so? Shabbos say, this is a throwback to yesterday's Mishnah. So we'll say, so this is talking about the case where ultimately again the husband comes back from traveling and ultimately again he has the ability to assume that his wife has a cheskas tara. So when is this so? Shenicha b'cheskas tara. So we'll say, when is this so? That if he comes home, he could assume that she has a cheskas tara. That's when he left and she had a cheskas tara. Avalinicha b'cheskas tmeya. But we'll say, if when he left the house, she was a niddah. Li'olam hi b'cheskasa ad shetomer lo tahora ani. She remains in that chazaka until what? Until she goes ahead and says, I am tahar. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Chiya bar Ashi, Amar Rav. But kabeid, we'll listen to this incredible case. But kabeid va'avad. We'll say, what happens if halacha l'maisa she did a bedika and she lost the bedika cloth? We're going to actually see, we'll say, we're going to see this halacha in terms of hilchos niddah, because this is actually this is a case that occurs right frequently actually. Right now we're not talking about by hilchos niddah. We're talking about over here ultimately again in the context of taras. Bad kabeid va'avad asur li'shamish ad shetivdok. Ultimately again she cannot go ahead and engage in bia until she does another bedika. Maskav Rabbi Ila. Rabbi Ila says, I don't understand what that means. Ilu isa milo mishamsha va'afa gavdlo yada. We'll say, remember again, we just said before, how do these bedikos work? She does a bedika. We'll say, what does she do with the bedika? What does she do with it? She puts it away until when? Until tomorrow morning. So I don't understand. Even if she did a bedika and she had it, the bedika has no ramifications until the next morning. So why should the absence of the bedika prevent her from bia? Hashta nami teshamish. Ultimately, again, therefore, she should be able to engage in bia with her husband. Amrei Rava zu mochicha kayim v'zu ein mochicha kayim. Rava says very simply, this one has a bedika cloth that is in existence, albeit we're not going to look at it till the next morning. This one does not. Rashi says, zu mochicha kayim hari ha'ed lifanenu ulamachar tirabo umahani lataros tichatz chor aban l'shamish be'edim mishum tarasu v'gam im yimtza dam ba'osa shlifnei tashmish tavichatas kaparasa. So we'll say, so ultimately again, at the end of the day, as much as you don't have to look to the bedika cloth until tomorrow, it's there. Masha'inkin, if it's lost, she needs to produce some bedika, even if we're not going to look at it till tomorrow. Amr Rabbi Yochanan. So we'll say, so fine. So we'll say, so now the Gemara goes back and discusses some of what we'll call intimacy etiquette. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. A person is not permitted to engage in bia by day. So I'm Rav Hamnuna, Mikra. We'll say, where's the pasuk? How do I know that? So the Gemara says, quoting the pasuk over from Eov, Yovad Yom Ivaled Bo, V'halayla Amar Hora Geber. So we'll say, listen to this. Literally translated, it means, let the day that I was born, right, be lost, and at night, Amar Hora Geber, at night there will be conception. So we'll say, so the Gemara says, Yovad Yom Ivaled, Halayla Amar Hora Geber, Layla Nitan Lehirayon, V'lo Yom Lo Nitan Lehirayon. So we'll say the drush that the Gemara is making over here is that what? Pregnancy could occur at night, pregnancy should not occur by day, which the Gemara is understanding to mean ultimately what? That halacha l'maisa, relations should take place at night, not by day. Reish Lakish says, no, it comes from here. Boze derachav yamos. That ultimately, again, he who literally, Boze derachav yamos means literally he who makes his ways despicable should die. What does this have to do with bia by day? Rashi says, Boze. Rashi says, Boza drachav tashmish kimo derech gever ba'alma. V'ameshamish bayom bali debi zayon shema yira ba davar maguna v'tiskana alav. So we'll say, listen to this. This is actually incredible. We'll say, so everyone's agreeing that you shouldn't engage in relations by day. We'll say, what's the logic over here? Really, we'll say, by day really means in a fully lit room. But say, what's the issue? It's such an incredible idea. What are Chazal concerned about? So Chazal are concerned that a husband is going to potentially see something unattractive in his wife, right? Meaning, there's no person that doesn't have some type of physical flaw. So the concern over here is that if it's fully lit, right, fully illuminated, that the husband is going to see something in his wife, something about his wife, that he's going to find unattractive, and that is going to ruin the intimacy for the couple. Therefore, Chazal says, so this is very important, because really, when they say that relations are prohibited by day, it really means relations are prohibited in a fully lit room. So we already saw before, the Gemara alluded to it, we'll see it later on as well, that for example, if the couple wants to have relations by day, ma'afil betaliso, the Gemara says, make the room dark. If you make the room dark, then ultimately, again, one is permitted to engage in relations by day. But it's an incredible sensitivity. It's also an incredible testament to sometimes the shallowness of people, right? That's kind of the way we operate. So, Lamais, again, even a husband who loves his wife very much, if he sees something unattractive about her, ultimately, again, that can negatively impact their intimacy. So what does Rabbi Yochanan do? What does Reish Lakish do with Rabbi Yochanan's pasuk? So remember, Reish Lakish quotes the pasuk. It was changed, right? From fine. What does Reish Lakish do with Rabbi Yochanan's pasuk? So the Gemara says, "Lichididar Rabbi Chanina bar Papa." Didar Rabbi Chanina bar Papa. Let's listen to this. It's a beautiful Gemara. So remember again, Rabbi Yochanan's pasuk Rabbosai was Yovad Yom Ivalid Bo V'Halayla Amar Hora Gever. Let the day that I was born be lost, right? Let the day that I was, Rabbosai, this is Eov, right? Eov is cursing his very existence. So let the day that I was born be like stricken, and ultimately again, Laila Hora Gever. And the night says, let the person conceive. So Rabbi Yochanan is darshaning, conception, i.e. bia, takes place at night. Reish Lakish brings down a different pasuk. What does Reish Lakish do with Rabbi Yochanan's pasuk? Listen to this, we'll say it's incredible. What does he do with it? He does the following. Osa malach hamamuna alai rayon, laila shmo. Rabbi, the malach who is in charge of conception, his name is Laila, or its name is Laila. So remember again, this is based on this pasuk, Yovad Yom Ivalebo, V'halayla Amar Hora Gever. So Reish Lakish says, quoting this Gemara that says, the Malach who is in charge of conception, its name is Laila. And what does the Malach do? Notel tipo ma'amid lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Malach brings the drop, which is going to be the fetus, brings it before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We'll say, beautiful Gemara, V'omer lefan of Ribono Shalom, Tipazu Mate'aleh. What is this child going to be? Gibar Ochala, strong or weak. Chacham o tipesh, wise or foolish. Ashira oni, rich or poor. V'ilu rasha o tzadik lo ka'amar. Rabbi said there's one question that the Malach Laila does not ask, which is, will the baby be, will the person be a tzaddik or rasha? Why? Rabbi say everything is in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, except for my yiras shanshene emar, the ato yisra ma'ashem al-kecha shomi imach ki im liyira. So we'll say everything is in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you're rich or poor, tall or short, smart or wise, good looking or ugly, everything is in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, except if you're a tzaddik or a rasha. That is up to you. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu says to Klal Yisrael when he says, V'yato Yisrael, ma'ashem al-kecha shomi. The only thing that God asks of you is to be a righteous person, because your personal righteousness, Rabbi say, is the only thing you control in life. Everything else is up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right, we'll have to stop over here with Rabbi Yochanan. We'll stop with Rabbi Yochanan and pick up with Mirat Hashem with this tomorrow. We'll say the shir is tomorrow afternoon. And Mirat Hashem, we give the shir. What time did we say? I think it's 3:45 tomorrow afternoon. So we'll say bench quickly. Right, get over. I just want to give you coming attractions. Tomorrow is an absolutely jaw-dropping, astounding daf. You're not going to get a nap anyway. Let's be honest. There's no napping, nothing. No one's going to let you go to sleep. Right? So I will say, to be honest, it's either you're going to be helping to clear the table, or you can play the Daf Yomi card. Right? You can say, sorry, I got to bench and go. What can I do? Torah calls. I'll record the Parshas Thought of Meretz Hashem right afterwards.